Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another spoiler free movie review. This is a review for Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny. I've seen it twice so far. I first saw it on Friday night in Dolby, and then saw it yesterday afternoon in IMAX. I really liked the movie, so that's why I saw it twice. But the first viewing in Dolby, there was a slight problem with the projector. It was somewhat dim. Like, I think the bulb was going out, and it wasn't enough for me to like leave the movie or like get a refund because I have the AMC A list. So I just think it would probably like restore one of my reservations. So it wasn't worth doing that. But it was much better in IMAX. Just had a better bulb, of course, and the colors were better and what have you. So my first viewing, I still enjoyed it on my first viewing, but the projector was a little bit weird. So I'll go in right now saying I had a really good time with this movie. It's I think the longest out of any of the Indiana Jones movies up to this point. I think Kingdom of the Crystal Skull and The Last Crusade are slightly over 2 hours. Dial of Destiny is about 2.5 hours, so it's a little bit longer. And it's directed by James Mangold, and it's the first one, first film, I should say, not including the TV series and all that. That is not directed by Steven Spielberg. So we're going to keep it spoiler free, but from the trailers, as there is a sequence with a de-aged Harrison Ford, I think that sequence and that intro is like very good. It's one of the better parts of the movie. I think they did a very good job with the de-aging process. It looked pretty good in my opinion. The action in the movie is really good. So that whole sequence was really entertaining. There's a bunch more action kind of spread throughout the rest of the film. Again, not going to get into spoilers, but from the trailers, this one is set in 1969. So it's set a little, I think, like, let's see. So the other ones are mid to late 30s is the time period for the original three. Crystal Skull is like in the 50s, I think. And this is set in the late 60s. So I think Harrison Ford is still really good in the role. I think this is probably the last one of these. I think they've announced this is kind of the end of this series. And I think this is my favorite. If I had to rate all my favorite film series, this is probably my favorite film series of all time. There was a little bit of misstepping with Kingdom of the Crystal Skull, but I still had fun with that movie. It's not the best Indiana Jones movie by far, but it's still an Indiana Jones movie, and I always have fun with Indiana Jones movies. So kind of my criteria for if I like a movie is, did I have fun? If I had fun, I will probably like it more. Raiders of the Lost Ark is probably my favorite movie of all time, and I think my ratings now, based on this film, or rankings I should say, is Raiders of the Lost Ark is always at the top. It's always number one. I think then Last Crusade. Before this movie came out, I would say Temple of Doom would be next, followed by Crystal Skull. Basically, Raiders, Last Crusade, Temple of Doom, Crystal Skull. I think this one kind of falls after Last Crusade now, so I think my new ratings or rankings are Raiders of the Lost Ark first, then The Last Crusade, then Dial of Destiny, then Temple of Doom, and then Kingdom of the Crystal Skull. Temple of Doom has a very good intro and a very good like third act, but I feel it kind of like toward the middle, it kind of gets a little bit boring. This one is longer, so they probably should have done some cuts to maybe get it a little closer to the 2 hour mark, because I definitely feel like I didn't love that it was 2.5 hours, but the music was really good. The acting from Harrison Ford and I think Phoebe Waller-Bridge was really good. I think that's the actress's name. I hope I'm getting that correctly. Toby Jones is really good. And then I think my favorite, and then another great, Mads Mikkelsen is in it. He plays like the villain of the film. One of the better villains in the series as well. Like, I think he might be my second favorite villain behind, I guess you can't really call Belloq a villain, though. Belloq is basically working for the villains, but for kind of the sake of the movie, he's the villain of Raiders of the Lost Ark. So I probably like rate Belloq first, then Mads Mikkelsen character from this one, and then probably the villain from Last Crusade. Maximilian, I think was his name. He was the one that basically hired Indiana Jones to, or not hired, but like told him about going after the Grail. And then I'd probably say Mola Ram. Mola Ram's like kind of plot doesn't really his. It's not like a world domination kind of thing, or it's not any kind of like huge thing. It's just like basically get all these stones and just get a bunch of power. So I think he's probably the weakest villain, and I'd say probably like I go maybe not the weakest. The like Spalko is kind of weak, but she actually had some pretty cool ideas what she wanted to do with the Crystal Skull. So I guess I go Mads Mikkelsen from Dial of Destiny, then Maximilian from the Last Crusade. I'll probably say Spalko is 4 and Molaram is 5. Molaram, Molaram's weird because I think like he definitely chews the scenery and it definitely has some great moments with him. But I think like his kind of like what he's actually going for isn't as impressive as the other villains in the series. But yeah, watching Dial of Destiny, I was just it's a great summer movie. I had a ton of fun. There's nice little references to the some of the other stuff, but it's not overt fan service. It's like kind of like stuff you maybe just hear somebody say or things like that. It's not. It doesn't knock you over the head with with fan service like some other movies might do. But like I said, like saw it in Dolby first, then saw it in IMAX. I would probably. It was weird. I think like the audio, there was definitely I definitely noticed stuff in the audio mix in Dolby that was harder to notice in the IMAX mix. So if you care more about the audio, I guess go with Dolby. But visually, it looked better in IMAX to me. And like also like I mentioned, there was like an issue with the projector where the projector just felt a little bit dim, like the bulb was like the projector bulb was on the way of being or on the way out. It was a burned out bulb, but I absolutely love this film series. It's one of my favorite series from when I was a kid. Um, like I said, Raiders Lost Ark is probably my favorite movie of all time, and I've always had fun with these movies. Even the ones like Kingdom with the Crystal Skull, which for some reason don't know why they came out in 2008. I saw it 3 times in the theater, probably because there was nothing else better to do, and it had been almost 20 years since we had an Indiana Jones movie. And I remember having a good time with that movie, even though there is some very silly elements in that movie, some stuff that is um, definitely even suspending disbelief doesn't really work with like the whole refrigerator scene and stuff like that, where it's just like over the top even for an Indiana Jones movie. But Dial of Destiny has great action. Like I said, the de aging sequence is really well done. It's action. That whole sequence is completely action packed. One of the best intros I think they've done. It might be my second favorite behind Raiders. The Raiders intro is definitely, I think, more iconic. I think the intro to for Dial of Destiny actually has more of an impact on the actual story of what's going on. But the Raiders intro is just it's iconic with the giant boulder and escaping the on the plane and all that. But intro for Dial of Destiny is really close in my ratings on the best intros. I'd probably say best intros are probably Raiders, then then Dial of Destiny. I probably would say Temple of Doom be the next one. The whole thing with the nightclub in China is really fun, and then getting on the plane, and it does lead directly into the film. And then I would say probably Last Crusade intro with the flashback and the whole train sequence there, and then probably Kingdom of the Crystal Skull. Even though Kingdom of the Crystal Skull has a great reveal for Indy, where you see somebody get thrown out of a car, and you see this like you see the hat on the ground, then you see the shadow on the projected onto the side of the car of Harrison Ford or Indiana Jones putting the hat on, the classic fedora. But I think that's going to do it for this video. Let me get my actual rating up here. So just rating this movie, we are going to be giving it an 8.5 out of 10. It's a little bit long. I think that's kind of length. It might be a little, kind of like a little detrimental to it. It's definitely the longest out of the 5 films. The other ones are Usually, I think a couple of them are over 2 hours. I think it's Last Crusade and Crystal Skull are just over 2 hours, with Temple of Doom and I think Raiders being slightly under 2 hours. But this clocks in about 2.5. If you factor in the time for previews, it's probably like a 3 hour experience. But I had a blast with it. If you're an Indiana Jones fan, I think you'll have a blast too. It seems very divisive right now. It feels like you either love this movie or you hate this movie. I guess I'm more in the love half of the audience there. I had a blast with it, but your mileage may vary, I guess. But that's gonna do it for this video. Remember to like, comment, share, and subscribe. And we'll be back again with other movie reviews as they come out. I'll definitely be seeing probably the next movie I'll probably be doing would probably be Mission Impossible. I think it's Dead Reckoning Part 1. That looks like it'll be a lot of fun, so I'll definitely be doing a video for that. I have tickets for, I think it's like whatever, and it premieres on a Wednesday, so we're seeing it that night. But and then we'll be doing other movie reviews. Probably be seeing Oppenheimer, probably Barbie at some point. So we'll probably have videos for those movies as well. But again, that's going to do it for now. Thanks again for watching. Take care. Have a good one. See ya.